Hi, hello friends, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we'll be seeing multiple choice questions of the subject testing of materials, Unit 5, other testings. The chapter name is other testing. Question number 1. The thermal properties are. Option number A is given as thermoelastic effect. What are the thermal properties? The thermal properties are. Option A is given as thermoelectric effect. Option B is given as specific gravity, a specific heat. Option C is given as thermal expansion. Option D is given as thermal stress. And option E is given as thermal conductivity. And option F is given as all the above. What are the thermal properties in the given options? If you see thermo means it's a thermal property, thermoelastic effect, specific heat is a thermal property, thermal expansion is the thermal properties, thermal stress is a thermal property, thermal conductivity is a thermal property. So I'm going with option number F, all the above. All the given A, B, C, D, E are the thermal properties. So going with option F, all the above. Question number 2. The methods of differential scanning calorimetry is. What are the methods of differential scanning calorimetry? In what are methods differential scanning calorimetry can be done? Option A is given as heat flux DSC. Option B is given as power compensator DSC. Option C is given as modulator DSC. Option D is given as hyper DSC. And option E is given as pressure DSC. And option F is given as all the above. What does this DSC mean? DSC is differential scanning calorimetry. There is a method called heat flux differential scanning calorimetry, power compensator differential scanning calorimetry, modulator differential scanning calorimetry, hyper differential scanning calorimetry, pressure differential scanning calorimetry. There are 5 methods. So I'm going with F, all the above. The name itself says you that these are the methods of differential scanning calorimetry, DSC. So I'm going with option number F, all the above. Question number 3. Dilactometer is a specific instrument that measures volume changes caused by physical or chemical process. They are given a statement that dilactometer is an instrument that measures volume changes caused by physical or chemical process. This is a question asked. They asked whether this is true or false. Dilactometer is a scientific instrument that measures volume changes caused by physical or chemical process. While doing a physical or chemical process, there will be increase in volume or decrease in volume. That volume changes is measured by an instrument called dilactometer. For example, you have ice. That ice you are placing in a cup and you are heating it. There will be definitely change in volume. Then the ice to the water, that is a change in volume. Level of ice in the cup and level of after melting, that ice will be definitely change in volume. So that changes will be measured by the instrument called dilactometer. So I'm going with option number A, true. Always remember, dilactometer is a instrument that measures the volume changes, whether it can be due to physical changes or a chemical process. Question number 4. The advantages in differential thermal analysis is. Option A, compactness and lightness. Option B, low operation voltage. Option C, measures large deformation. Option D, all the above. What is the advantages of using differential thermal analysis? Differential thermal analysis is a process that analyzes temperature, that calculates temperature. What is its advantages of differential thermal analysis? Option A, compactness or lightness. Option B is given as compactness or lightness means it is compact in size, that is small in size. Lightness means it is not heavy in weight. Low operation voltage, it uses little voltage, not a high heavy voltage. It uses just simple voltage like 1 or 2, and measures large deformation. All the above. Option D is all the above. So I'm going with all the other different advantages of differential thermal analysis. So I'm going with option number D, all the above. Question number 5. The various components of dynamic mechanical analyzer are. What are the components of dynamic mechanical analyzer? Dynamic mechanical analysis is an instrument. What are the components are placed in that instrument? Option number A is given as transducer sensor. Option number B is given as LVDT, linear variable differential transducer. Option number C is drive shaft. Option number D is given as drive motor. Option number E is given as stepper motor. Option number F is given as all the above. Transducer and sensor are the same. Transducer, sensor and LVDT are the same. Drive shaft, drive motor, stepper motor, all the components are placed in the dynamic mechanical analyzer. Transducer, sensor and LVDT are the same components only. Stepper motor, drive shaft, drive motor, all are placed in the the components of dynamic mechanical analyzer. So I'm going with option number F, all the above. Question number 6. Benefits of using DMA process are. What are the benefits of using DMA process? DMA means dynamic mechanical analyzer. Option number A is given as it's very soft and hard samples are measured. Option number B is given as allow accurate temperature measurement. Option number C is given as it can provide major and minor transition of materials. Option number D is it's more sensitive. Option number E is all the above. The benefits of DMA are it is soft, very soft and hard samples. Very soft and hard samples can be measured. You can measure light sponge to a heavy rock. That is light soft materials. That is aluminum is a soft material. Zinc is a soft material. Like from zinc to you can measure hard cast irons also can be measured. Yeah, that is one of the good benefit. And allows accurate temperature measurement. And so it can provide major and minor transition of materials. It's there any little transition you can also identify it. Transition means changes. Option number D is changes to one form to another form. Option number D is it's more sensitive. Sensitive means you can find out least point from if there is a difference of 0.1 also you can be identified. 0.01 also you can be identified. Changes in 0.01 level also it can be identified. These are the benefits of using DMA, dynamic mechanical analyzer. So I'm going with option number E, all the above. Question number 7. The purpose of chemical analysis is. Option number A is given as chemical trace analysis. Option number B is given as elemental trace analysis. Option number C is given as failure analysis. Option number D is given as all the above. The purpose of chemical analysis is to trace a chemical, that is chemical trace analysis. Elemental trace analysis to find what is the element. To find the failure also, failure analysis. All the D are the purpose of chemical analysis using of chemical analysis. For what purpose we will be using chemical analysis? To find the chemical traces, to find the element traces, what element is present, magnesium or calcium or something, that element is present, or to find chemical traces analysis, which chemicals are on the or taken to use that type of analysis. And failure analysis, what causes this failure, which chemical causes this failure, that all for all these purposes we will be using chemical analysis. So I'm going with option number D, all the above. Question number 8. The purpose of the types of XRF spectroscopy is. What are the types of XRF spectroscopy? There is only two types. Option A is given as energy dispersive XRF. Option number B is wavelength dispersive XRF. These are two are the types of SRF. There are only two types of SRF spectroscopy. That one is energy dispersive SRF spectroscopy. Another one is wavelength dispersive XRF spectroscopy. So I'm going with option number C, both A and B. Question number 9. The limitations of XRF spectroscopy is. What is the limitations of SRF spectroscopy? Cannot distinguish, the samples cannot be distinguished variations between isotopes and of an element. If there is isotopes, what are isotopes? Same atomic number but different mass numbers. Isotopes are the elements having same atomic number but different mass numbers. You cannot distinguish between various isotopes. Samples cannot be, if there is two isotopes of a same element, you can have hydrogen as one, that is deuterium they will be saying. Sorry, I don't know what they say, but H11, H12, these are all different isotopes. That can also be, that cannot be distinguished by this XRF spectroscopy. Option number B, that is cannot distinguish variations between ions of the same element in different valence states. Option number C, instrumentation is fairly inexpensive. Option number D is all the above. That limitations, these are the limitations of a spectroscopy, cannot differentiate between various isotopes, cannot differentiate between the same element of different valence states. Some have one valence electron, some has two valence electrons in its outer shell. That also it cannot be distinguished by this XRS spectroscopy. Instrument is fairly expensive, high cost. These are the limitations of XRS spectroscopy. So I'm going with option number D, all the above. Question number 10. Nebulizers are devices that convert a liquid into an aerosol that can be transported into plasma. This is a statement given. Nebulizers are devices that convert a liquid into an aerosol. Aerosol is a liquid, it's a fluent that can be that aerosol can be transported into plasma for use of. We'll be using plasma for many purposes. It can be used as a fuel. It can be used for testing purposes also. That that is a device. There is a device for converting liquid into aerosol. That aerosol can be transported into plasma. That devices is called nebulizers or not. This is the question asked. Option A is given as true and option B is given as option A is given as true. Option B is given as false. Nebulizers are definitely the devices that converts the liquid into aerosol, which can be transferred into plasma. So I'm going with option number A, true. Question number 11. The types of dispersing unit is. What are the types of dispersing unit? Prism or diffraction gratings. B, option B, monochromators. Option number C is polychromators. Option number D is all the above. The types of dispersing unit is, prism or diffraction gratings is the type of dispersing unit. Monochromators is the type of dispersing unit. Polychromators is the type of dispersing unit. So I'm going with option number D, all the above. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. If you guys like this video, please like it. Share your thoughts and doubts in comment section. For more videos, subscribe to my channel and share with your friends. Thank you guys. Bye.